Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to see you all again. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Detroit by Night. The Motor City broke down. This time, we're going into episode 19, Blood on the Breath. And before we end up beginning, I'd like to end up introducing our players for this evening. As it stands, we have Raven, Nightmare, Mouse, and Rashad. Each of them bringing their own quality to the life tonight. After all, they call themselves the nightlife. And yet, they stand at a crossroads. In many ways, they're a coterie divided, with different ideologies, different wants, different needs. And yet tonight, more than any other night, there's one thing that bounds every kindred, every vampire to one another. And that is the need for blood. The need for it spilled, to be drank, to be given. They say the blood is the life. Never truer than tonight. So, as we begin, let us introduce them. Let's start first with who doesn't often get to start first. Let's start with Nightmare, played by our very own Alex. Nightmare, would you be able to express what it is you're looking for tonight? What is it that's driving you onward, especially given the recent events and revelations that have revealed themselves to you?
Right now, what I need more than it is a little bit of control over myself, a little bit of insight into the coteries nature. I need to be able to own the aggressive Raven himself, essentially battling against one to see who takes it on.
Nightmare, you seem to be breaking a little bit, just as a test. You're talking about the coterie being unsure that it seems to be breaking up. Something about Raven. Would you clarify on that?
Yes. I fear that my own, how do I put this? My own want to control, to look over the coterie, really. Not even necessarily control it, but to look over us and keep us safe has led me to taking control of our actions for the last few nights. Determining what we're doing, where we're going, and unfortunately that's rubbed Raven the wrong way, and I don't blame her. She left last night, right as the sun was about to come up. I drove her away because I didn't want her to murder Juliet. Even after all the trouble she's caused them. Tried to make up for something, but is it worth it to drive away our own coterie? I know I'm trying to make it right. Or how it ended with Nighty, but can't help but feel I'm doing it wrong.
Maybe. Or
I
maybe
need to talk to Raven.
Yeah, I would say so. But then again, maybe it's not you doing anything wrong. Maybe the problem is you're doing everything right. Who knows? But given that's the case, let's open next with someone who has an investment in recent interests, someone who wants to end up taking a look at the situation and end up saying, I'm going to control this. I am going to make sure. I am going to speak with authority. Who's rising in the ranks. And yet, the irony finds himself more the outsider than ever. Common ground with Raven earlier mentioned, I'm sure, would be Mr. Rashad Seraph. Mr. Seraph, are you there?
Yes.
Mr. Seraph is played by Volvo, our very own. Mr. Seraph, you've come under contract to try and end up creating the Elysium for Detroit. That project is underway, however, events recently are putting a lot of pressure. And the coterie and one very specific member you were tasked, I should say, to end up looking over, seems to be starting to shatter. And yet, they haven't really accepted you as one of them. They seem to just tolerate you. Would you mind giving us some insight on that, and maybe what you plan to do tonight? Maybe even to alleviate said circumstance.
My stance on being tolerated is more not so them tolerating me, but me tolerating them. I have been given a task, and I plan to see that fulfilled, no matter what the cost. I always get things done one way or another. My plans tonight is to help the nightlife and raise up its destroyed projects, the Fitzgerald projects, to be clear.
While you may be a man of surprising wealth, I can only imagine on the exorbitant cost on it, and the projects with the Elysium and maintaining the funding, because you've probably taken more than a hit now, given the amount of damage inflicted, especially with the incursion of the Second Inquisition and the retaliation thereof. It's very much not a Cold War right now.
Yes, I have to be very careful with my spending at the moment. I do not plan to fully invest in all of the Fitzgerald projects. Not yet, anyway, until Elysium is fully finished and it is having a constant flow. I'm going to invest a little bit into the projects, at least start showing signs that the projects are improving. It'll help the neighborhood pretty much, I believe.
Well, the question is help for whom, right? But that goes to another individual. Mouse, the heart of this coterie. And when I mean that, I mean very much on an emotional sense. The closest thing to a moral center that they have. A disfigured young man who finds himself in over his head and scrambling to find answers. Mouse, you just ended up finding Raven bailing in a tiff, now trapped with a creature that shares the same blood as you, the same sire as you, almost going mad with hunger and barely able to control herself, and you have other things to do tonight, and you're hoping to end up getting her to Baron Mason, but the question I guess one would ask is, do you think that wise?
I think so. Baron Mason made it very clear that he does not approve of rash judgment based on the circumstances of an individual. And so, in order to, I suppose, give Juliet I suppose, more fair assessment is in order, and Baron Mason is perhaps the one to do that at this point. I'm a little in over my head. It's cost us a lot to even try and maintain her right now. And I'm really hoping that we can bounce back from this, because taking that kind of a hit on some of our contacts, resources, things of that sort is taxing. But I also hope that Raven's going to be okay, because she's a Coterie member after all. And I don't know. I just really hope things that work out. I just really hope that things work out. I need to also maybe get some advice from Gutter at some point when he's finds me, wherever I happen to be in the moment, I guess. And kind of get an idea of how to proceed, because all of this is overwhelming. I'm trying to hyper-focus to try and not freak out, but it's hard.
I'd imagine so, given on the fact that you just witnessed your kindred sister end up flaying a man's back open, cost Rashad, a very loyal individual.
Yeah.
And I gotta wonder what else it'll cost you this night. Maybe even a coterie member.
I hope not.
Speaking of wayward children, let us talk of Raven. Raven, you seem to be at your complete wit's end at this point.
That's definitely one way to put it. Another way to put it would be that my patience is running out.
And it seems to be tested at every turn. I do have to ask, Raven. You've had an opportunity to run. You didn't. And now you're embroiled in it all. I have to ask, after all this, has it been really worth it?
It has. I've got unfinished business in the city.
Well,
I'm not done with Detroit just yet.
plans within plans. Everybody wheels, everybody deals, and eventually everybody gets what's coming to them. Still, at this point, you aren't with the rest of the coterie. The coterie has managed to at least have safe haven in Mr. Seraph's bunkhouse, but you took refuge elsewhere. And with the fact that you have very few options, you had to approach somebody for help.
I did. I called up an old mentor, Hector. He's a friend of my sire, and while I don't know much about him, I know he'd rather see me in one piece rather than ashes. So he seems like as good a bet as any.
Well, Hector was willing to take you in. Oh, it seems that you weren't the only one. A unknown voice at this current moment holds sway on the whole situation. Hector, in his small haven, in his little slice of domain, has graciously allowed you to end up staying the day, allowing you rest. That being said, danger's not over yet. So let's start first with a rouse check all around. Would that be possible? Let's take a look. Jamal, Mouse Collins ends up gaining hunger by 1. Raven, you managed to fend off hunger by a bit. The rest cannot be said for Rashad and Nightmare. Don't forget to mark on your character sheets. And also heal up equal to resolve or composure, whichever's higher, of willpower. Non-aggravated. So, given the night, I'm gonna let you guys decide who should go first. No direction. This is your story to tell.
Well, I'm definitely not the first one to wake up with my humanity 5. But when I do wake up, well, I suppose I'll have to wait for Mouse and Rashad I'm pretty sure they're awake before me.
Very much so.
Once I wake up, then there's no wasting time. I need to go and contact them.
Alright, let's start from there. So, let me just move the scene. So, Nightmare, Mouse, Mr. Rashad, and, dare I say, honored guest, all awake. They're capable of finding themselves, though the bitterness of hunger begins to take. There is a moment. Maybe it is like waking from a nightmare, as you can feel the thing inside stirring. Each of you is hungry. Some of you more so. A dangerous time to be hungry. That, however, can be brushed aside. Mr. Rashad, you have your morning wake-up routine. Suit newly pressed, pinstripe as you like it. The morning paper with the reports coming in as to what has transpired during the day. You're still flipping through them by the time you reach the door to end up exiting proper to go and join these 2 that you call coterie members. Though maybe they just see you as the checkbook.
I exit the room, basically finishing up checking stocks, see how everything is going. Tonight is busy like any other night.
Mr. Rashad, it's not looking good. It has been showing that there is, well, you know your history well enough to end up seeing it. I'm not going to make you roll for it. That you're looking at a heavy downturn. You're probably expecting a market crash to happen very, very soon. And if that happens, there's going to be a lot of clients that can't afford to continue paying your services. But that being said, the market always corrects. Things always work out in the end to those who are patient and willing to capitalize on opportunity when they see it. Still, it's not long before you do manage to end up getting down to meet the three kindred you have lurking down below. These three deformed freaks, dead and hungry.
We will have to make sure that they feed tonight. I am at my wit's end as well. I'm gonna have to cram this into my schedule.
Well, that being said, you'd manage to end up descending the elevator, and it does open. As a reminder, Juliet supposedly can't leave her room without that key card. And if I recall, Mouse and Nightmare are in very much the same boat. The irony of safety is locking yourself in a cage.
Yes. Can't take any chances. Especially with Kindred. I'll go down the row one by one, unlocking the doors, making sure they're all up and awake. I'll make sure to knock first. Common courtesy.
Fair enough. Mouse, Nightmare, you hear a knock at the door, and you are able to open it as you hear the lock unlatch.
Leaving through the day leaves such a crick in the neck.
You're telling me.
Good to see you all are moving around.
Yeah, I suppose so, but we can't stay here too long. There's shit we gotta get done. I need to find the
Agreed.
Raven.
You need to find what?
Raven.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell me you forgot about Raven.
I didn't forget. I just have other things on my mind.
Don't we all?
Too
That
much
reminds
to
me.
do.
Nightmare, your replacement phone should be here soon.
Good. And what about the other things I asked you about?
Just getting started. I will check on that immediately.
Alright. So, anyone feeling a bit peckish?
More than peckish.
Almost as
Yes.
though on cue, the third door finally opens. Outstepping in a stained but clean knit jacket and halter top, Juliet, this creation that's now cleaned up, seems to be a little steadier, at the very least, though her eyes still dart from one of each of you. You're going to eat tonight. Yeah?
That's the plan, I suppose.
How? Can I see it?
See?
Well, the whole thing with mine is that I'm not seen, and no one sees me. Perhaps Mouse. Well, perhaps you could help Mouse if he could show you a couple things.
Okay.
Could
It's,
do.
it's no offense at all to you. You've proven yourself more than sneaky. It's just I don't
Yeah.
like being seen.
She kind of looks up at you. I find that really hard to imagine.
He's kind of big.
Yes, but even still, he kind of whispers to himself, Laura. I don't like looking like a monster.
I guess. Sorry, I'm still a little shaky. Mr. She looks to you, Mr. Seraph.
Seraph, Mr. Rashad Seraph, at your service.
Thank you. I wanted to apologize for what I did. I don't understand it fully, but I know what I ended up doing. And all I'm gonna say is I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. I know how Kindred under frenzy get. It's very hard to control.
Thank you.
I'm just glad it all worked out.
Is he dead?
No, he will live. He will be in the hospital for a while, but he will live.
She breathes a heavy sigh of relief.
That's good to hear.
Yes.
Finally, some good news.
Okay.
That also reminds me. Is there anything that I can get you while you are staying here? Clothes, refreshment? Oh, I kind of pause for a moment when I say refreshment because I'm organs. That's another thing I need to look up, Mr. Kowalski.
If I don't have to kill it and I can eat it, that'll be good enough.
Fair enough.
All right.
As far as clothes, I mean, it's not like I can go anywhere and people not look at me unless...
You fooled my eyes before. I think you can get around without being noticed.
Yeah, and almost as soon as you say that, do not press reserves. Only when here necessary. Further here, the feeding will end up creating complication. Reduce here the strenuous activity and abilities as needed upon a necessary basis. Do not...
That sounds about right.
She kind of shakes herself when you say that, like shakes her head a bit, and when she turns to you, like, yeah.
Derek, is there something I could possibly get for Juliet so she can actually walk out during the night and not be like super horrifying people?
I mean, I'll go and ask. I keep these things around.
A stylized mask could work.
It starts, but ultimately the hardest part is not just that, but it's also not acting suspicious. I mean, Nightmare might wear a mask, but even he has to acknowledge that if he's not wearing the bike helmet and walking around near a bike, people start looking at him funny. And Mouse has to keep his hood up and keep to the shadows at all times because he can't openly be seen. So even with the mask, it only changes so much. Not saying it's not a good idea, just be aware it doesn't immediately put diplomatic immunity.
Yeah.
How good are you at keeping sneaky, Kitty?
It takes her a minute. Then she turns to Mouse. I don't know. Really? I didn't have to be. I don't like to be. I can do it, but...
I mean, I was meaning more without the cloaky thing.
Without literally being invisible, how well can you sneak around?
I really don't know.
Well, perhaps we can put that to the test.
She looks to you both and nods. Then looks to Mr. Seraph. Will you be joining us tonight?
Come on, Rashad, we haven't gone out as bros in a long time. I think the last time was never, right?
Mouse just cocks his head, bros.
Right. I suppose I could join you all.
That'll be an interesting venture. Don't want to ruin your new suit.
I'm not too worried about that.
Got anything less swanky you can go around in?
Yeah, you kind of stand out for where we go.
You stand out more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
I could, yes.
Yeah, you'll want to dress down. Like way down. Like me down.
You kind of just see an expression on my face that's like, fine.
Like Armani's suit is definitely not going to fit in. You are going to look like a Nosferatu.
I changed my appearance for no one, but I will consider it.
Oh, that reminds me. So, Kitty, how do you like masks?
If I'm honest, I didn't give much thought on the subject.
I've had 14 years to think on it. I decided that I'd rather do that than look like a monster all the time. So, and I'm gonna take out a couple of the masks I have, for my personal belongings, which is basically like a duffel bag right now. And there's mostly like extra clothes, some pants, but a few masks, including one that I take out that's something I've never personally worn, and it's just not my taste. It's a fox mask. I got this at a thrift store once, but never really wore it.
Now, when you say fox mask, are we talking like the Japanese, almost like flat mask with the tapering to end up creating the look of a fox, or are we talking about like here's a large rubber fox head?
It's not a large rubber fox head. It's basically like a Japanese wooden mask.
Okay. She looks at it and she just nods to you and kind of presses it against her face. If you're not paying attention, you might not notice that her jawline is still open and there's teeth directly behind the mask. But first glance with the hood up, maybe something would... Maybe it's not going to end up drawing too much attention.
I definitely assist her in like kind of making that more like that it doesn't show up.
Yeah, there's really no way to end up doing it. This is it covers the front of the face, but remember, her mouth literally ends where her ear begins.
Yeah.
So it's poking out just along the side. But
perhaps a hood is also best for this. I mean, I found that masks and hoods pair well together, so...
Yeah, and she does have a hoodie under her jacket, so she lifts it, and it's this purple-tinged hoodie that covers up. Something you've seen her on, well, let's just say you've seen more than one security cam. It's at this point, Mr. Seraph, you have a text message indicating that delivery at the front desk is waiting for you.
Excellent. I will immediately close my phone and say, I think your phone has just arrived, Mr. Nightmare. We can pick it up on our way out. Well, I can anyway.
Good, good. I put on my mask, which is pretty much just a blank mask with just eye holes, no facial features at all. I pull up my hood. You want one too? Coffee?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that'll work.
I'm.
I mean, hey, you don't have to.
What?
You don't have to take one.
Something else was on my head. I was kind of wondering if you really should go out, Kitty.
I'm not going to get any better at this if I'm cooped up in here, right?
It's true. It's true. We're going as a group,
Besides,
right?
yes, we are. And we still have to contact you know who.
Who?
The friend we were talking about before, the one that wanted to see you.
Okay.
Oh, I've already made contact. He should be here whenever he's free.
Ah,
I don't know if here, though. Somewhere. I don't know.
we'll have to keep an eye out then.
Yeah.
Either way, you're right, Kitty. You won't get any better at this if we don't at least try. But we took you in to give you a chance, not to coop you up in a cell all day long.
Alright. So, how do we start? And I think that is where we're going to transfer over for now. Because you're not the only ones waking up. Raven.
Yes.
You managed to wake. It's not the most comfortable of locations. It's, well, to put it bluntly, it's a very badly constructed false wall behind a completely empty wine rack. It's more of a cubbyhole than anything. But at the very least, it was dark. You press your way out, and you find yourself inside of the basement of this home. Oddly enough, you don't hear anything.
Never figured Hector for a wine person.
Maybe isn't the reason why it's empty.
I'm gonna head upstairs.
The floorboards creak underfoot as you make your way up. You end up opening the door, and there might be that slight bit of hesitation like every other night where maybe, just maybe, the sun is out longer than you expected, but no. As you open, you see yourself standing in the kitchen. And you can end up seeing in there is Hector. Now, when I say see Hector, I mean that's all you end up seeing. Now, he appears to be moving pots and pans and other kind of things, like he's trying to tidy up the place. They're trying to get it ready for something. But you don't hear a sound.
Hector?
He raises his head, turns to you, and he kind of starts speaking to you, and you don't hear anything.
You're a bit quiet there, bud. I cannot hear a word.
There you are. Oh, sorry, lass. I just end up getting some rest. Well, I'm sorry it's a little cramped back there, but, you know, I haven't exactly dug it out for party favors at this point.
I am very grateful.
Good. Well, we're going to need to end up waiting a moment and getting everything set. But if that's the case, he kind of with a kick, the chair pulls out from the under the table, and he just kind of slouches, or not slouches, but just kind of slams into it, and just kind of catches a relaxed bit as he stretches out a bit. Well, top of the evening to you, lass.
Yeah, I guess it is. Raven will wander over and take a chair nearby.
So, you're on and on about your coterie, and you end up coming here to me with some frustrations, and I can understand it might be a bit of a less than subtle situation. I'm pretty sure you don't do subtle none well, unless you pick that up, in which case, hey, good for you. And if not, there's my little murder.
I'm learning subtlety. Not all murder has to be obvious, after all.
Well, maybe. Still, now that we got more time to talk without having to end up worrying about pressing matters, if I had to end up guessing, probably got a good 5 minutes.
Why do you care about us, Hector?
Maybe I just enjoy hearing the squealing of children. Maybe it's because I never managed to get to the third term, and I didn't have a wee one of my own that was just prattling around the house, and it gets lonely as an old man.
Maybe. I never considered kids myself. Not really my style.
You will. Won't be the type you were expecting. But it's not the strangest thing. But children are important. I will end up giving you that. It seems to be becoming more important these nights.
How so?
Tell me, lass, have you ever heard some of the older folk tell you something about the beckoning?
Not really, no. You never really mentioned it.
Well, to be fair, I only ended up telling you what was important at the time. And it's starting to get...
You did a good enough job.
Or maybe I did a good enough job that you're smart enough to end up coming to me when you don't understand something. Look, I'm not part of the tower. I'm not part of, I don't have a golden rod shoved up my arse. What I have is the ability to end up talking to young ones and at least to some degree understand what the fuck they're on about. Which is probably a step above what you have to end up dealing with on a nightly basis, I imagine.
You're not entirely wrong.
Alright, now that we understand that. Okay, beckoning. Why is it important? It's really simple. I've heard that every individual of particular, shall we say, term, has started taking flights out for some reason. They're going by train, they're going by automobile, they're going by plane, they're going by boat, whatever the fuck they can end up finding. But they're all need to go, well, as far as I can tell, home. Most of the old ones you see, they're not local. They are from across the pond, and they feel the need to get back there right now. It seems the older it is, the harder it is to hold off.
Something's calling them?
That's about as much as I know, but I do know that they call it the beckoning.
So, the older ones of us.
Aye. So, you were asking why are children important? Well, it's really quite simple. If I suddenly felt this sudden urge to end up going back out to the Isle, who'd take care of this house for me?
Your child.
Don't have one.
And no one.
He kind of like leans in, like, go on, continue the thought.
It's the same as the Kine, isn't it? With the keeping the lineage, keeping it in the family. All about heritage.
Maybe.
Keeping it in the blood, as it were.
I could definitely end up saying that as an angle. But there's another angle. It means that if this keeps up, pretty soon we're going to have very, very few individuals left who are seasoned proper. Now, I thought I'd end up giving it a go, that I end up taking you all under my wing, and I ended up making sure that you ended up keeping your heads above ground to the point where I end up figuring, you know what, I'm going to push this as far up until they start resenting me. And a lot of child are ending up like that. Everybody tries to pretend they got their shit together. Everybody. Fact of the matter is everything's crumbling apart. Great time to be an anarch, unless...
It's crumbling apart just as much for them, for us, as well.
Was that a Freudian slip I just heard?
I don't even know anymore, Hector.
Oh,
Isn't part of an anarch being you don't need to say you're an anarch?
Not quite. There's a few other options out there. I'll discuss them as they're relevant. But the most relevant right now, I guess you could say, are these, A's Unbound. You find them especially in Thin Bloods. Kind of like Ellie. Ellie is, her blood's supposedly really thin because she can't do much of fucking anything.
Ellie?
Another guest, she'll be arriving shortly. Told her to sit and wait it out for a minute. She's been outside for... she should be done cooking by now.
She can go out.
To hear her tell it. It's not like I was there to end up watching her walk out into the sun, but she seemed pretty confident to just walk right on out.
And that's... Oh, Christ.
What?
Sorry, that's just kind of mind-blowing to me, Hector. But, that was one of the core things you taught us. Sunlight, fire, decapitation.
Yeah.
Stakes are a pain in the ass, but they're not lethal.
Yeah, but neither is a broken arm. Neither one I care to experience.
No, but you get my point. And now you turn around and tell me apparently there's someone out there who can just go for a walk in the midday.
Oh. 1 second. He walks up, and there is him looking through the blinds for a second before he unlocks the door. And you see a woman come in. I shouldn't even say woman. I should say like young girl. Very young. Probably 5 years younger than you. She seems dressed in flannel. She doesn't seem particularly bothered, but she walks in the door. Thank you very much, Hector. Lass, don't worry about it. Yeah. Ellie? Raven, Ellie. Pleasure to meet you.
Hi.
Hi. She just kind of looks to the side, like looking about. She almost seems like she's looking around for something. Yeah. Well, ain't this just toughical? See, Ellie, I've been explaining to dear Raven here about you thin bloods and one of your unique tidbits. Hector, I told you not to talk about me. Lass, there's something she needs to know. You're both kids after all, and for fuck's sakes. Raven, don't you mind her. She might end up having a chip on her shoulder, but as far as I know, she's greener than you.
I can relate to the chip on the shoulder. It's a hard one to shake off.
Pleasure to meet you, Raven.
And you as well, Ellie.
She makes a quick motion and then stops.
Do I recognize the motion?
Roll me a... I'll tell you what. Roll me a wits plus empathy or etiquette.
There is no empathy. Would that be insight?
Sorry, insight. God dang it.
Oh god. Bestial crit.
Okay. You... Liar is the first thing that comes to mind. Liar. You know, everybody's betraying you. Everybody's going behind your back, and you've had enough. And you find yourself, you jump out of your seat and you rush her, like get within inches of her face. Yeah, fangs out, and you realize that before Hector can even reach out, Ellie just kind of stands there, and she is completely stone-faced at that point. Like, as soon as you stop, she is not even flinched. And Raven, you need to settle yourself. Yeah, girl. You need to settle yourself. Now...
Hardly green.
Well... Maybe I've seen more than you'd like to think. Maybe I just knowing how dangerous this gets.
I'm learning not to think anything of anyone.
Smart.
Like that.
Well, Ladies, if you're not going to end up ripping each other to pieces in my kitchen, that would be fantastic.
Calm down, Hector. Don't get your knickers in a twist.
Raven, you just ended up wrecking a perfectly good chair. He kind of gestures over as you realize that the force it took for you to launch out that quick has literally reduced that chair to pieces.
Gosh. I'm sorry, Hector. They were a really nice set as well.
Jesus, I got those back over in here 63. Fuck!
Well, maybe it was a family business. That is what we were talking about, wasn't it?
Ah, yes. Yeah. Well, what do you mean that's what you were talking about? Hector kind of looks to you. Like, go on. Get your big girl pants on now.
Hector was explaining to me about the beckoning, about how it's affecting the older members of our little community, and how...
What's the beckoning? Is somebody calling you, Hector? Me
Depends
personal?
on how old he is.
Ain't that old, lass. Been around a while, but ain't that old.
He never did give me an actual number. What are we talking? 100? 200?
Raven, don't you know it's impolite to end up asking a fella his age? I mean,
I'm talking about the beckoning.
that I have no fucking idea.
Right.
I will end up saying this. I know currently Montreal is a shit show right now. And I ended up hearing out down south, we ended up having some bullshit going on in San Antonio, which just ended up making it all kinds of fucked. Prince just up and fucking left. Jacksonville got fucking eaten. Oh, pardon. Is it Jackson or Jacksonville? I'm not sure. Jackson or Jackson? Ugh, I can never keep all this shit straight.
But yes, the point stands that when a kindred reaches a certain age, apparently there's a calling to go back across the water, as our darling Hector put it. They leave, drop everything, and by plane, boat, train, or car, run off to somewhere.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, right?
Yeah, around the world in 80 days, hop in a hot air balloon if you can. But the thing is...
That doesn't
as
sound
Hector
safe.
Probably wouldn't. You'd at least need a tarp or something like that. But... point is, if our dearest Hector here woke up tonight and got the urge to go visit the dear homeland and pick up another set of these lovely chairs, who would be here to keep house after he left? Who would be here to watch his little slice of heaven?
Raven, it's at that point a shoulder lands, or a hand lands on your shoulder. And it's Hector's. You didn't hear him move. He was just out of eyesight for a second, but you didn't hear him move when he does so. And he just kind of gives you a reassuring squeeze.
And so the question becomes, people are aware of this and aware of what's happening. And please, let me know if I get this wrong, Hector. It might make certain older members of our community who are starting to get that little itch, that little scratch in the back of their head, I'm sure that's how it starts, want to maybe think about having a few kids, settling down, starting a family, getting someone to look after the estate while they're away. Would I have that about right, Hector?
Near as I can figure. Now,
And then,
if you excuse me, I gotta end up checking the mail and the voice messages, so... Can I trust you two, given earlier, to not tear each other to pieces in my little haven?
I promise.
Of course, Hector. Thank you very much. And with that, Hector gives you the tip of his hat and seems to move to the front, leaving just you and Ellie across the table. She places her hands, fingers interlinked, kind of leans forward, observing you.
What's it like being able to walk in the sunlight?
It's bright. Ellie pauses for a moment. You kind of see her eyes moving a bit as she's kind of fishing for a few things. It's warm. People laugh, joke. They worry about their cars and they worry about if they're going to pick their kids up from school. They worry if they can catch the train.
Because no one wants to be here when the sun goes down.
Can you blame them?
Not with what I've seen. And that's before all this stuff happened.
Raven, I owe you an apology. I didn't mean to provoke you at the door, and whatever I said or did to do so. I'm sorry. You can see that she's choking down the words as she does so.
As in, she's not sorry?
As in, this is very difficult to say. Why it's difficult, you're not sure. It is clearly difficult for her to express this.
I'm sorry for reacting the way I did. It's
Instinct.
more than that. It's been a rough few nights. I'm not necessarily trusting right now. And that's with the people close to me.
Isn't that
That's
why
for
you
the
keep them
people
close
like
to you?
Yeah, problem is I'm not sure if they're worth it anymore.
I suppose you can always end up walking away.
If I didn't still need them, I would. That's the
Well,
kicker.
why do you need them?
Because they can do things I can't. Because they can get things I can't.
You can get things I can't. You can do things I can't. How's that make it any different?
Because if I wanted to walk into the middle of a park at daytime and feed the ducks, only one of us would be standing there after about 10 seconds.
I'm sure. Still, There are tricks to it, you know.
I'm sure there are. There are many tricks in this crazy world right now.
Well, you can always bury yourself. A friend of mine did that. He wanted to stay close to the sun, he couldn't see it, so we'd bury him under 3 inches of earth. It's very dangerous, but he insisted upon it. When we buried him, he said when he slept he could still feel the sun. Really, it was just the ground warming, but it was enough to feel it.
Yeah, I think I'll pass.
Why?
I think I'll pass.
Why?
The whole 3 inches thing. I'm not ready to feel the sun just yet. As I said, I've got unfinished business.
Like what?
No offense, and this is seriously no offense. I've only just met you, and as I was saying, I am not trusting anyone right now.
I wasn't aware it was that touchy.
In these nights, it has to be.
You got good instincts, Raven. I like that.
Yeah, well, these instincts made me help a injured-looking dog, and next thing I know, I'm waking up dead, so
But you're
maybe
not.
they're not the best.
I mean, you're gifted by the blood. You'll be pretty forever. Or maybe you care that you can go on without a second thought. Maybe you just like to be strong. Whatever it is. The night waits for no one, and I need to end up getting out of here pretty soon, so unfortunately I can't make many social calls.
Yeah, I've got business of my own to attend to.
Is there a way I can get a hold of you, Raven?
Not right now. My phones have a habit of exploding. But,
Phones are usually a pain in the ass anyway.
yeah. Leave a message with Hector. He'll know how to contact me.
Well, it's either that or update your space account.
Yeah, no, people might notice that.
Well, if that's the case, she starts to end up standing from the table. Hey, lass, where do you end up going? And with that, Hector is arriving. He seems to be, like, fiddling through the mail for a second. Just kind of drops it all on the counter right by the sink. Well, I don't see bodies here laying about the place, and I don't see that you're all keeping your limbs intact, and you both seem to be here sitting or standing there upright. So I must imagine that it's been quite pleasant.
Amicable enough.
Hector, I have to go. I have things I gotta get to. Alright, Ellie. Well, if you need anything, you end up letting me know. Just try not to stumble your way too far. I won't. I mean it, kid. You came in at a really fucked up time. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine I did. Still, the night rages on. It got that right, lass. And with that, she walks out the back door from the kitchen. Her eyes watching you, Raven, as she walks out the window. Well, didn't even get the chance to end up sitting and having a chat with her. Was it something I said?
No, I rather think it was more things I said. Sorry about that.
Well, you're speaking your mind. Can't ask you to do much more than that now, can we?
Right now, I think learning when not to speak is also the more valuable lesson.
Oh, look at that. The young one blood managed to teach you something. How about that?
Raven's gonna get up and go to the window and just make sure that Ellie has actually left.
You check out the window. As you peer through it, you see her walking. And for the briefest of seconds, just the briefest of seconds, you swore there was somebody else walking with her. Somebody taller. Somebody older. There's something familiar going on there. She catch your fancy?
More my interest.
Huh?
She was lying.
Pardon?
She was lying. You were lying.
Lying about what?
That's what I'm not sure about. Care to tell me?
He kind of just sits in the chair she just occupied and leans back. Well, at this point, lass, I haven't lied or said a single lie thus far. So I'm kind of curious as to what I'm lying about. If this way I can at least fess up to knowing what the fuck I'm fessing up to.
I guess what I'm asking, Hector, is... who's her daddy? Or mummy?
No idea. Neither does she, apparently. Though I have a sneaking suspicion that might just be personal matters she doesn't want to get me involved in.
What's she doing in the city?
Huh?
Other than surviving, of course.
Well, near as I can end up telling, she's just getting her feet wet. Still standing on rocky ground kind of situation. She did end up telling me that she was kind of just getting the ropes around. She knows enough to end up staying out of the sunlight. She needs blood, and she's apparently... She just ended up learning she's a thin blood because she ended up finding out about this whole walking in the day thing. She thought we could all do it. Something about time of day. She's talking about twilight or something like that.
Everyone has their secrets.
Mostly. So, again, lass, help me out here. What am I lying about?
Lying may be too hard. An omission of truths, shall we say. In which case, I'm sure there's a list 2 books long, with a third on the way.
Probably. I could give you the admission that I am, at this point, dead broke. I can give you the admission that I end up having to bury a body about, 5 nights back. I can give you the admission that at this point the Thin Bloods are starting to get riled up.
Why are they getting riled up?
Well, counting her, I counted 6 Thin Bloods in the city. 2 weeks ago, could have counted 30 of them.
Someone's hunting them.
Well, I might think that has something to do with, the aftermath of what the fuck we've been going through. You know, buildings blowing up and people getting shot, dragged out in streets, set on fire, apparently.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the set on fire part.
I'm sorry to hear that, lass.
It'll heal. In time. I mean, I'm still here to talk about it, so that's something.
Yeah, pretty sure that's why you're still around. But I wanted to end up asking something of you. Now that you had time to, pardon the phrase, be off the leash for a while, now that you managed to stand up and end up showing old Hector that, hey, I can do this, what have you really learned?
That you need others to really survive in this game.
Oh, when you're young, yeah. Definitely need people in when you're young.
You can't necessarily trust anyone. Even those you want.
Oh, fuck no. You're talking about lying by omission. Here's a lie of omission. This is not my fucking haven.
And if I asked whose it was?
Oh, it's mine. It's just not my haven. I'm not about to end up sitting here inviting somebody else to my place of rest if I can end up saying, hey, you know what, you just take care of the cottage for an evening.
That's fair. That's smart.
And the reason I'm here is because right now everybody's going to be getting a lot of attention, and I would like to end up knowing that if this place goes up in flames, that I have another place to go, and I know exactly who told. Because right now there's only 3 suspects, which helps narrow it down a lot from a whole city of kindred and, well, what did you call them? Second Inquisition folk, what'd you call them?
I think they're working with the FBI. At least they got SWAT teams, helicopters, and enough fucking military hardware to be them.
Fair enough. They wanna make it a stand-up fight. You don't make it a stand-up fight. You dance around him. You make him tire himself out. You make him look high and low, and you do everything you can just to keep him running ragged. But in the end of the day, you gotta be smarter and quicker than they are. So, here's a part of me being just a little bit smarter.
Which brings me around to the third thing that I've learnt. I know jack shit.
That is probably the best thing I've heard ever since you left my company, lass.
I also think the quota is in way over our heads.
I think we all are, to be fair with you. I met a Japanese feller long time ago. Really big into this self-help thing, right? And he had this thing about pots and teacups. I don't know the line, but let's just say that you do what you need to do, you become what you need to become. But, nevertheless, right now, you still want to be a teacup. What you need to be is a fucking kettle right now.
I think I'm about ready to boil over.
Well, just make sure it's a useful bit or stay the fuck away from me when it happens. I will consider that favor enough. Speaking of favors, right now, this is not exactly a insignificant favor you ended up asking of me of revealing of myself, but I also know that you're a little bit light, so here's what I'm going to do for you. I need from you to do me one thing real quick. I'm going to need you to let me know on what the fuck's happening in the Fitzgerald neighborhood. It's your turf. It's not too far away from my place of rest. So I would like to end up knowing if shit is going down. Give me a heads up. You maintain that? You can keep coming to me with your questions. Sound fair, lass?
Yeah, it does.
Because I can't give you freebies anymore. You're standing on your own 2 feet, wobbly as they may be.
Yeah, sometimes I find 4 feet works better.
Lass, I'm trying not to make a crass joke about you being on all fours, but you're making it very fucking difficult tonight. Well, whatever it may be. You have any other questions? Let me know now, or let me get to my fucking dishes.
I'll leave you to your dishes, Hector. Will your number still be the same after all this?
Probably not, but right now it seems good.
I'll send you a message with my new contacts, I guess.
Alright. So, let us enjoy the evening. I guess you're on your way then. If you decide what you need to do.
First thing I need to do is try and grab a bite to eat. So I'll probably swing by the old neighborhood.
Well, you stay safe and you keep it quiet. We'll be alright.
Yeah.
Alright, kid.
My best.
Your best. Losers always whine about their God, I never get that quote right. I love that movie, though.
See ya, Hector.
With that, scene comes to an end. Now, before we head out, Rashad, you're currently
Yes.
getting dressed more appropriately. Now, little known to maybe the others that you didn't always dress in pinstripe, did you?
Nope.
So, why don't you end up letting us know what exactly you have a moment in your own room. Pulling out a box or a old bin, Tupperware bin that holds some stuff when you used to wear something significantly different. Well, what are you getting dressed in?
Pulling out a old windbreaker, black. It has a lot of embroideries on it. more so musical notes, football, basketball patches, all very sporty. Um, I also pull out a black T-shirt that has the University of Detroit on it. Actually, um, where's my attire? Black slacks and black and gold Nikes.
Yeah. Going
Very
proper
normal.
Jordans.
Yep.
Yeah, it feels weird to get back in the old clothes, back in the old days. Back when you didn't have to worry, when you had more to worry about how to get food on the table than having to worry about what your employee reports are. Still, by the time you get back to... Go ahead.
It's a very nostalgic feeling.
If only you had an old beater car. Still, maybe there's a feeling of home when you do it. Or maybe it just feels like wearing another person's skin. As you end up coming down, you end up seeing the other three. They're waiting for you in the garage down below. No one's in there. Don't want to risk what happened the last time. At least a chunk. And the three of you end up seeing Rashad in a very different light. You can see him as he's described, right? You can see he's wearing a sports coat quite literally, as you can end up seeing that you got various sports teams. He's got like a Detroit Red Wings embroidered on the left side. He's got all these kind of bits, and you end up seeing him wearing a t-shirt that you might be able to make out. If you've lived in this city long, you know the logo for University of Detroit.
That's a bit more appropriate.
Well, well, well. Riches to rags, story reversed.
You could say that, yes.
You don't look comfortable.
I don't, but it's more a sense of being in an old skin.
Do I notice that he's wearing actual Jordans?
Yes.
Tell me why I immediately... Tell me why I immediately think that Mouse wants to say, what are those?
I'm gonna get your nice shoes dirty.
Yeah, used to get them dirty all the time.
It's at this point in him, Mouse, you feel kind of a sharp pain in your side in the ribs as you realize Kitty is kind of giving you a jab in the ribs.
Ow.
She looks at you like, come on.
Yeah, that's
Time to go.
time to go. Yep.
I'll pick up the phones before fully leaving and make sure Nightmare gets.
So what car are we taking?
Yeah, I mean, you already know what I'm taking.
Something
Hey,
something less suspicious. Maybe the Lamborghini.
We can always take... Wait, oh, that's broken, never mind.
Would the van be fixed by?
Be operational, but trying to get new plates and all that on short order. So it was spotted.
Yeah. Okay. What
You can always
I
take one of your
have,
less suspicious cars and park it in a park.
yeah, I'll actually do that.
Okay. Then at this point, if there's nothing else, we'll begin feeding by going home to the Fitzgerald projects. Fitzgerald is not as you guys remember it. I mean, yeah, there's some old dilapidating buildings and rows upon rows of abandoned houses. The fact is that as you end up going through, you get a restless feeling. Your beasts clawing at the cage just can't wait. They know what's coming, what needs to happen tonight, and it is beautiful. It is. It's going to be sensual and vicious. As you end up eventually parking the car, for lack of a better term, you end up stepping out. You can see that at this point, Project Juliet, Jamie, Kitty, whatever name she'd be using at this point, seems to be looking down, observing. She tries to look up through her mask, but her head keeps down, very low. Mouse, Nightmare, you both step out of the car. Rashad, it is so weird to step out of a car without a driver or somebody to, chauffeur you. It's been a while since you've been behind the wheel.
I should point out that I did take my motorcycle.
Oh, most certainly. But where would Nightmare be without it?
He wouldn't be Nightmare.
Still. Rashad, you haven't spent a lot of time in the projects, have you?
No. Not for a long time.
Yeah. Well, as you look around, you can just see, there are buildings that are burnt out husks. You can see that people have torn the boards off boarded up houses and have stolen the plumbing, have stolen all the copper and the wiring, whatever they can end up selling. It's not just breaking into the house, they basically stole the house right down to its foundations, and this is a repeated sight over and over. Anything that could be scrapped, anything that could be sold, anything that could be salvaged has been removed out of a large portion of these homes. What used to be a bustling community is now, it's a festering corpse of a neighborhood with only a few lights on in between rows of empty houses and vacant lots.
This is a damn shame.
Most
I
of
have to
this
do
is from
something about
before.
this.
Most of this is from before the Inquisition.
We definitely need to get this place back up. It can't stay like this any longer.
Welcome to the shit pot that is being poor.
Rashad, what's your hunger right now?
5.
Yeah. It's at this point I would like you to make a frenzy check.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to give you +2 on this because Juliet and Nightmare are both there to kind of dissuade the beast from performing a very rash act. But it's had enough of this fucking twerp.
Okay, +2?
Yep. It's only going to be difficulty 2, but...
Okay.
The hunger is definitely starting to get to you.
One sec.
Remember, it's... Your humanity adds to this dice roll as well, right? If I recall, you can add 1 to your or 1 additional dice because of your humanity.
It's 1/3 of humanity, so he'd get 2 dice, wouldn't he?
I don't think. Has he dropped humanity? I'm so used to dealing with you
Used to
guys
deal
being
with
low
you.
humanity that. Okay, then 1/3. Yeah, you would be at 2 or 2 additional dice. So.
Okay.
It should be just down. Like if you click your character sheet. Oh, there we go. Found it. Oh, that's way too many dice, man. Way too many dice. Oh. It's 4.
Because my
Yeah, that's
willpower is.
Yeah, your willpower is 7, but you also added your full humanity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get 2 dice because of your humanity. So it's going to be your will plus your remaining willpower. Keep that in mind, right? So.
Yep.
You have no aggravated at this point. So you're going to be 7 plus 2 plus 2. Yep, 7 plus 2 plus 2.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Crit success. Mr. Seraph, you try and appear as calm as a cucumber. Mouse, there's that one point where you end up noticing his eye kind of like looked at you at that point, and for the briefest of seconds, you feel like all those small corpses of animals you leave behind.
I walk a little bit away.
Oh, we should get this on the road. Or it's not gonna
Agreed.
catch itself. So, who wants to go first? Rashad, you look hungry. Maybe we should get to you first.
I think that would be for the best.
Rashad, it's going to be very difficult for you here. Very difficult. And with them not knowing what your feeding restriction is, it's even more so. So I'm going to give you a choice. Is right now, the difficulty base is 5, but you have a feeding restriction which is going to put it up to 6. I will give you an additional die for each person here. You're willing to tell what your feeding restriction is. But if they don't know what they're looking for, they really can't help you. They'd be just pulling random people off the street. Unless, well, you know the cost.
I'm not going to let that slip just yet.
Are you going to be feeding solo?
Yep.
Okay. Now, as a point, I am talking about your feeding restriction. Now you remember your Ventrue. Technically, you can feed on something else, but trying to keep it down is a significant act of willpower. So you can reduce the difficulty to 5 if you're willing to spend a willpower to keep it down if you succeed.
What dice would I be rolling for this?
Depends on how you're hunting. This is outside of your normal purview.
Right.
You tell me, how do you think Rashad would go about this?
His feeding. I highly doubt there's going to be anyone with my specific feeding restriction.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to use willpower to keep it down.
Okay. Then how are you going to go about hunting? It's a little different down here in the streets, isn't it?
Yes. Very difficult and different. I'd probably... listen out for any music that's playing, even if it's a tiny bit singing, instrument, humming.
Okay. So, with that in mind, you're currently listening, so you're trying to keep to your feeding restriction just in case.
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm gonna need a. Are you trying to do this quick, or are you trying to be thorough?
Thorough.
Okay, I need you to roll me a resolve, and I'm gonna need you to roll me a awareness. This is
Okay.
difficulty 5.
Oh.
All right. Now,
Real quick.
yep.
Did that roll actual dice or did it roll no?
You rolled 4 dice total.
Because I know I have 1 in awareness and resolve is 3. Okay.
So, Rashad, the neighborhood's changed so much. You're struggling at this point, and you're looking at this point. It's hard enough to find life. On occasion, you might find a pair walking with their arm in arm, but they don't seem to be separating anytime soon. You see, and you're trying to find. You find people. That's not the hard part. The hard part is finding opportunity. And you continue to wait and wait, being the precious or patient predator you are for precious blood. Mouse, you end up noticing Juliet isn't far off from him or you as you're trying to hunt together. And she's like, what is he waiting for?
Have cold feet.
It's more like opportunity. I don't know a whole lot about feeding on people, to be fair.
You don't feed on people?
Generally, no.
Nah, it's what they call a vegetarian.
She looks at you very confused.
Can't explain, Mouse. Meanwhile, you handle that. I think I'm just trying to help old Rashad out.
Okay. Yeah. I guess. I've never heard of it called like that, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. It's one of those things where I just feed on animals because it's what I do.
Oh. I'm sorry, I guess I didn't fully understand it.
It's not a big deal. Everybody kind of has a preference. That's just mine.
I guess it must be hard here then. There's not a lot of people, so without a lot of people, you're not going to get a lot of strays.
Yeah.
You need to get more garbage in garbage cans.
Yeah. That's a good idea. That will kind of, like the urban wildlife population kind of needs to a little bit of a jump start.
Yeah, I guess. So are we looking for a raccoon? Or do you eat
Maybe something
cats?
up on occasion. I try to keep the strays if I can, but generally it's a little bit difficult right now. I kind of would take anything at the moment.
It's at this point, Nightmare, you end up approaching Rashad. And he's been at this for almost like an hour at this point. And he
Rashad,
go ahead.
Rashad,
Mm,
taking too long. What are you doing?
I'd rather be cautious and not jump at the first opportunity. I can be patient.
There's a limit to patience, my friend. Perhaps they need a distraction, something to get them moving along, or to separate for a second. If I can do that, can you get whatever they need?
Yes.
I'll make it quick then. And
Alright.
I will silence of death behind the couple or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Are there like, is there any kind of fencing or bushes or anything nearby?
There's plenty of back alleys, but the hard part is not getting spotted. I'll tell you what, because you're both going at this together now, and we've changed the method of feeding. So what exactly is your plan, I guess, is the question.
I'm gonna distract one of them. Probably, if it's a male and female, the male.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming that if there's a noise, the girl might get scared, or there could be a rose and they go check. Either way, whoever decides to go and go and check out whatever that noise is, will be hopefully away from the other one. Basically, I'm trying to cause a distraction that separates them.
Alright. I'm going to need you to do a wits plus subterfuge. And you're going to be at a -2 penalty. In these kind of neighborhoods, people are less inclined to check something out and more avoid.
Okay.
But it is possible. So I'm going to make this difficulty... We'll make it difficulty 3.
I'm pretty sure that's literally impossible because I have, with wits and subterfuge, a total of 3 dice. -2, it's a 1.
Doesn't... But you also get +1 because Rashad's there, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
He's assisting in this feeding. This is for the whole feeding roll. This is not 1 by 1. Not possible, he says. I said difficulty 3, I believe. So, yeah. As soon as you make the noise, you kind of just rattle a trash can. You notice that they kind of cling to each other a little bit of a start as they start to walk a little bit faster.
I will, I'm gonna throw the trash can out. Why not? Maybe it'll startle them to where they're gonna run for the hills instead of clinging to each other.
You're gonna throw the trash can at them. You're literally okay.
Not literally at them, just near them.
Okay. Roll me a I'm not even gonna make you roll this. Yeah, they as soon as that happens and the trash can falls, you see them bailing. They're running at this point. Mr. Seraph, you are observing Nightmare terrorize his food.
Hmm.
As I come back, I'm just gonna be like, this isn't usually how I do things. I don't really know how you do things. But I could have sworn they were gonna. Someone was gonna abandon the other. That's how it usually goes, at least. Kids these days, they never follow the rules of the old times. Chivalry is dead.
Not as dead as you might think.
It's at this point, Nightmare, you hear a growling behind you.
I'm gonna look with my guard up.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give this one a complete pass. This is not forced, but this makes the most sense given. Raven, you are currently in wolf form, and you are creeping up behind Nightmare. You had to figure out what the hell that noise was. Because maybe, just maybe, it was something to eat. Potentially, it still is.
Imagine I turn around at this point.
Yeah, there is this big dog currently right behind
there,
you.
puppy.
Just growling constantly. I can't actually growl at the moment. My throat isn't up to it.
Oh, there, puppy. I'm gonna back away slowly, and you're gonna stay over there.
Oh, if only dogs were that well behaved. Mr. Seraph, you can see Nightmare is currently being threatened by something with a lot of teeth, and it's looking very aggressive at this point, bearing down towards Nightmare. Leering, I should say.
I see, instead of, okay, so Nightmare starts slowly backing up. I'm standing my ground.
Look, I don't want to hurt you, and you don't want to hurt me, right? Yeah, totally. Let's,
Yeah,
leave your territory. What?
What was that, Raven?
The dog is, as soon as Nightmare said, I don't want to hurt you and you don't want to hurt me, the dog is leaping at Nightmare.
The Nightmare, the dog definitely wants to hurt you.
Okay, the dog's gonna get punched then.
Okay. Raven, how would you respond?
I will even, like, I'm not gonna potence it. I just think it's a dog. This is not gonna be potence if it's a dog.
Well, you can feel
Right?
it's a mouse, right?
Real quick, if I saw that it would even try to go towards Nightmare, I would try to compel.
You're trying to what?
Compel it. Sit.
Compel doesn't work on animals. And
Oh,
for all
it doesn't.
intents and purposes, you think this is an animal.
I mean, hey, if it might be food for mouse, you got a point. Potence this shit then.
Okay.
So I suppose.
Yep. Raven?
Feral claws popping out.
Nightmare, you're officially near hunger frenzy at this point. How much blood do you have left now?
I'm at hunger 4.
Yeah.
I need to make a rouse check.
Raven, you're at 5 hunger, are you not?
No, 4, because I succeeded my rouse check this morning.
Alright. So you're now at 5 hunger. Okay.
I'm now at 4 hunger.
You're now at 4 hunger?
Yes.
Okay.
I was at 3. I succeeded my check this morning.
I
this
need
evening.
to end up getting a better way to keep track of this, but I'll consider it from this point on. All right. So, those of you at Hunger 4 or higher, I need you all to roll me a frenzy check at this point if you are involved. So that would be Nightmare, Raven, and Mr. Seraph.
This is willpower minus the aggravated?
Yes, all marked and spent willpower cannot be used to this check.
Okay, and when you put in humanity, is it your humanity value or a third of your humanity?
It's a third of your humanity value.
Is that rounded up or down?
If I recall, it's rounded down.
Okay.
So 1 for Raven.
And also 1 for me.
Yeah.
I do...
We do need a success of 2 or higher.
Oh, shit. Yeah, no. Well, you remember how, you made that picture of, Nightmare Fencing?
Okay. All right.
Where the coterie tears each other
Nightmare,
apart, guys?
you no longer have control of your character.
Cool. He is currently, got prowess on, so...
Yeah.
It's a +2 to his attacks and such.
Okay. So.
This is gonna get real.
Yeah. Okay. So right now, the only person who is. So right now, Nightmare, you technically qualify as Hunger Frenzy at this point.
Okay.
It's not good. It is not good.
All I know is shit's about to go down, and it's not my fault, Raven.
I'm double
Isn't
checking
it?
because there's an old rule that used to be in place, and I'm trying to remember.
Isn't it your fault, Nightmare?
No, you're the one that attacked me and caused me to go into a hunger frenzy.
So
Okay.
nice when you have such a micro view of the situation.
Yeah, Rashad. Okay. This is gonna hurt. Okay, so Raven, you need you're literally at this point doing everything you can to suppress this frenzy. At this point, you're capable of it, but it's eating up your action this turn. Rashad, you have a critical, so you are unaffected by you manage to suppress it almost instantly. You snap that beast back into place and you make it heal. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of Nightmare.
Could you hold for 1 second? I need to look something up.
By all means.
Page 219.
You're looking for riding the wave?
Yep.
Are you choosing to forego the roll?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. So at this point, this is a hunger frenzy. So, Nightmare, it's at this point, I'm going to open up your character sheet, and we're going to move that right here. Nightmare, you are screaming in the cage that is your mind. And you see yourself leap towards this dog, fangs out, the mask is torn off, you are lunging at it. Raven, you can choose to dodge or defend, but you're going to be at a -2 right now because you have other things to focus on. No, you're actually going with the beast. So, yep, you're both in frenzy at this point. We have 2 frenzying kindred going at each other. And I'm just going to double check here. Alright. So, you're currently using potence and... Alright,
Yep.
Raven, what are you doing?
Raven has already activated her feral claws.
Okay.
She is shape changed. She has specialty from protean fighting form,
Alright.
tooth and claws.
So we're gonna brawl it out?
Yeah.
Okay. It's at this point, Nightmare, you can see his muscles start to bulge. We're gonna do a rouse check. No, you are now officially at Hunger 5. And that's going to give the +1 there. So, okay. So now, we are going to end up going with... let me just double check here. Yep. Okay, we're going to go Strength Brawl, I think is fair to say. And at this point, Nightmare has 3 dots. Or 3 hit, a +3 modifier. And let me double check here. Yep. Okay. Alright. On you as well, Raven.
Okay.
Okay.
Before, do I want to risk it? Yeah, I'm in frenzy. I would be doing it. Rousing the blood for +1
Okay.
to strength. That's a success. I'm still on hunger 4.
Yeah. Yours is, now to be clear, Nightmare is in a hunger frenzy. Raven, you're in a fury frenzy.
Okay, let me just read the book so I know exactly what that means. Okay. Yep, let's try this. Pull, strength.
Now, because you're currently with the beast, you're egging it on, I'm willing to allow you to use willpower. Nightmare cannot. He's not riding the wave.
Yeah.
He's trying to fight this.
For now, I'm still riding it.
Alright.
So my modifiers would be +2 from feral claws, +1 from my specialty, and +1 from my rouse the blood.
Yep.
Are there any other modifiers that I'm missing from that?
Not yet.
Okay, so that's +4.
Oh, jeez. Okay, and you do superficial damage, correct?
Let me double check. Feral claws.
But it's not halved. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
I do have a bit of a rules clarification. Is she able to use protean powers in Frenzy?
Yes. She can use physical alterations. She couldn't use stuff like Eyes of the Beast or anything like that. Not Eyes of the Beast, but she couldn't use like Auspex for Premonition, Dominate, those kinds of things. It has to be a physical. Right?
Cool beans.
No worries.
Much the same as when I'm shape changed.
Yep.
And you know what? Just to make this a one and done, I'm going to spend a willpower to reroll those 3 die.
Okay.
Real quick, is it she does the damage based on how much the difference is?
Oh, yeah. She does. So that is a difference of 2. So, and you are already at 1 damage beforehand.
Actually, I wasn't. I was completely healed.
Okay. My dumb math.
So re-rolling the 3 missed die on the normal successes.
Yep.
1 more.
Okay. Now, it's at this point, Mr. Rashad, what do you want to do? You currently see this dog, and that you swear its paws got bigger, its claws got longer, its teeth are a lot wider, and Nightmares seems to have lost it, and these two things are tearing each other to pieces as they tear at each other.
That ain't no normal dog, and well, Nightmare's lost it. Let's see. And I don't think Compel would work on the dog, would it? It doesn't work on dogs.
As far as you know, well, you don't know what this thing is. You know what Nightmare is, but actually, I'll give this. Give me an intelligence occult. Difficulty's going to be 3.
Okay.
You're recalling something. Yeah, no, you don't know. You might have heard of this if you did, but no. So, what's your action?
If I try to dominate Nightmare,
This dog might tear him to pieces, yeah.
okay.
But
I can't allow. But
it's like you could allow him to get torn to pieces, but
yeah, I don't want to do that.
okay.
Okay, so the dog and Nightmare are going at it. Can I try to blindside the dog?
Yep, most certainly. How would you do that?
The one thing I can do really is tackle it, or try to anyway.
All right.
Probably gonna fail. But
So this is going to be a strength plus brawl, plus any specialties. Raven, you're rolling the same dice pool, but you are at -1 as you've already taken an action.
Okay. Is this still with the Rouse the Blood bonus?
Yep, it's still the same round.
Okay. So that'd be 3 modifiers.
this is gonna be horrible. This is gonna be so horrible. I ain't got that much, but
Yep. All right, try it. Okay, so Mr. Seraph, you jump in there, heroic leap, diving in, and as soon as you do, this dog jumps off a Nightmare and starts to maul you. And its jaws are over your shoulder, near your throat. This thing could clearly tear your head off if it wanted to. You're gonna take. That's not a crit, right?
That's not a crit.
You take 6 points of superficial damage, and you do not half them.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Nightmare, given it's the end of your turn, you can try to end up via rolling willpower at this point. Plus humanity. You're trying to fight the frenzy. Or you can end up riding the wave and just go with it.
I'm watching a dog tear not only just me, but also my coder member to pieces.
Mhm.
Right now, I think Nightmare's going along with his beast because it's do or die at this point.
Okay. It's at this point. We're going to end up. I'm going to allow you to ride the wave at this point. But Nightmare, you cannot leave this state until you have fed upon someone.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Yeah. Alright. Just be clear. So, is this an action you want to take?
It is an action that Nightmare would take.
All right. Okay. Mouse, it's at this point you and Kitty both end up hearing this ruckus coming on from back. It sounded like a trash can at first, but now all of a sudden you hear dog barking, ripping, growling. Something's tearing itself to pieces over there.
Oh shit.
What's that?
Something. I don't know. Sounds like a dog.
Shit.
Yeah. Cool. I'm climbing scaffolding, and I am going to figure out what's going on. You stay here.
What do I do? What do I do?
And, do people notice you when you just stand still?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hide behind that dumpster.
Okay.
And stay there.
All right. And she starts to run before you even get to complete the thought. She is already running. It's very clear she does not want to be here.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right. Okay.
And I am going to climb a building, and I am going to figure out what's going on.
All right. You're climbing up, and we will get back to it. Okay. So, Raven, Nightmare. You both are in frenzy. Raven in Fury Frenzy. Nightmare, you're in Hunger Frenzy. Rashad, you have just got torn up for trying to interfere in between two Frenzy and Kindred.
I think he's probably learned his lesson.
Yeah. So everybody declare their actions. Again, if you need to fight the frenzy, if you want to fight the frenzy, then you need to start rolling frenzy checks.
Hammer is riding the wave, and he's going to tear this dog to pieces.
All right. Raven?
Raven's going to focus on the largest threat and turn and face Nightmare.
Mr. Seraph?
There has to be something I can do here. But what?
At this point, get out of the way, pick up the bodies.
Not necessarily.
I don't know if Dominate or Cloud or Compel Cloud Memory or Compel would work on the. Correct.
You don't know for a fact, no. You know it doesn't typically work on animals. But that's as far as it goes. But now you have definite points of this is not a normal animal. So, Hail Mary.
Okay. First off, I'm getting up and backing up because I just got torn up. Second of all, I'm going to try to Hail Mary and compel the dog to sit.
Okay. So, at this point, you know the roll. Now, if I recall, it is intelligence plus resolve, or against the new dominate? I'll double check that. Oh, you know this one?
Yeah, we've done it like 3 times now.
Yep. Intelligence plus resolve. So, Raven, I'm going to need an intelligence plus resolve, and I believe you have a +2 because you are currently in the middle of
+3.
Oh, +3. Yeah. Okay.
3 extra dice added to their resistance, please.
Yep.
So apologies. What was the roll again?
It's going to be intelligence plus resolve plus 3, because you are in frenzy.
Intelligence plus resolve plus 3.
Holy
Oh my god. Okay.
Roll well,
No one
Mr. Seraph.
may control me.
It's true.
Okay. And no modifiers for this, correct?
There is no modifiers at this point. She's
All right.
already got her bonus, so you need to beat 7.
No.
Yeah, you try and charge the same thing as what you end up doing. You've done this before. You've done this against a frenzy and Juliet, and yet maybe this beast can't be compelled. As they continue to tear at each other. Raven, you're still going with it. And Nightmare, are you resisting or are you still going with the frenzy?
Still going with it.
Alright. You both know what to roll.
Vows the Blood has finished, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Rouse the Blood. Player can add that number of any dice to incorporate into an attribute. The number of bloods or adds also depends, right? Characters can only use Blood Surge once per roll. Blood Surge requires... Yeah, so I do apologize, actually. I shouldn't have applied it to him, Mr. Seraph, but it seemed appropriate as it wasn't even around. That being said, Nightmare, you managed to roll 3. Raven? That is 8 successes. Nightmare, you're taking 5 points of damage at this point. Nightmare, I'm also going to need you to roll me... Are you... Well, that'll be the start of the next turn. It's at this point, Mouse, you manage to get to the top, and what you see is a giant dog currently tearing Nightmare to shreds. And Mr. Seraph doesn't look like he's in much better condition at this point.
Well, fuck. I want to sense the beast. Have I seen this dog before?
I don't think any of you have seen Raven's other form.
It doesn't look like a normal dog, though, does it?
Oh no, this thing's forward paws are huge, and you can see like it doesn't have nails. It has talons. Its jaws are like 3 times larger, and these teeth are just meant to shred meat.
It doesn't look like anyone spotted me, though, right?
Not that you're aware of.
I do. Does Nightmare looks in bad shape?
Very bad shape.
Well, shitballs. Okay. How high am I up?
You're at least 2 stories up.
I'm gonna jump the dog and I'm trying to bite her.
It's gonna require one hell of a jump.
As in jump down?
Well, you guys were out of line of sight beforehand, so I'm kind of imagining cross the street kind of situation. Because they're in the back alley. They're literally like fighting under a fire escape equivalent, right? I'm not saying there's a
Oh, so
fire
I'm
escape
not even
there.
close enough.
No.
Okay.
You made it a point that you and Juliet were separate from, so I'm treating you as separate. But you do manage to get a look.
I do manage to get a look. Okay.
You could attempt to jump the street, but that's going to
My
be
soaring
really
leap
difficult.
only allows me to jump like 15 feet. And if they're further away than that, then I wouldn't get the jump on her. Okay, I'm going back down, and I'm gonna go meet back up with Juliet.
All right. Run with it. You end up continuing. Nightmare Raven, you two are tearing each other to pieces. As it goes to Mr. Seraph. What are you doing?
Okay. Would cloud memory make them dazed for?
No. No, it would not. It really has no combat applications. 1 second.
Okay. Try compel one more time.
All right. Raven, you know what you're rolling, right? So. Ooh, this might do it. 4 successes. Raven, I need you to roll me a resolve. Intelligence plus resolve plus 3.
Yep.
Yeah, you're just eating through this. Yeah, Rashad, you try and stop it. You try, but it's just not holding up. Now, Raven, Nightmare, I'm going to need you both to end up rolling your strength brawl plus whatever other modifiers you have. Raven, you only get a +2 this, or you said you have +4. Now it's a +3 because you've already taken a defense against Rashad.
+4 was with the blood rounds, correct?
That's correct. So +2 unless she wants to rouse the blood again.
Also, would it be possible for a Nightmare to try and fight it again?
Yeah, or you can try and steer it if you're trying. That would, if you're going to use your point to do so.
Well, it's more like he's trying to come to his senses to protect Rashad more than he is himself.
All right.
At this point. And because he's feeling kind of hurt, he's less interested in taking out the dog and more so interested in saving his own hide and possibly that of his coder.
Yeah, your beast kind of agrees with you on that one. So, trying to outrun a dog is going to be difficult, but you can try it. All right. So, it's at this point. You're going to need to roll me what's left of your willpower +1 because of your humanity.
One success.
Yeah. That ain't gonna cut it. Yeah, so the beast is gonna go full sprint, so... Raven, this is going to be your... This is gonna be your hit regular brawl. Nightmare, this is going to be your... It's going to start with your dex plus athletics. You're trying to run.
Okay. Does potency also go into this because it or feats of strength? Flash.
No, it wouldn't. It's not
Okay.
for strength. You're trying to escape. Well, you know what? I'm gonna allow it this time. It seems rules appropriate. So yeah, I will allow it. But then you're changing your... Yeah.
Good argument is you're literally just throwing the dog off you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, Raven, you end up getting... Wow, surprisingly. Okay, so Raven, Nightmare throws you aside, trying to get away. Now, this isn't an attack, so he doesn't cause damage to you, but he does manage to get distance. And he starts to run.
He's running.
He is running.
I spent the willpower and fight the frenzy.
Okay. So you're going to purposely spend the willpower rather than roll? So I'm trying to actually find that. I was hunting for that earlier. I was pretty sure that was a thing. But that might have been a 4th edition or earlier on. You know what, I'm just to keep moving. And we'll touch on that tonight.
I think it is the player can spend a willpower point to assume control of their character for a single turn while in frenzy, but may not use willpower to reroll dice.
Ah, okay. Well, it's at this point your beast wants to destroy Nightmare. Absolutely destroy him. Nightmare, your beast is now moved into fear frenzy. It needs to get away from this dog. Rashad, you are standing there and you are dumbfounded. Mouse, you see that Nightmare is bailing and you are just getting down. You manage to get close enough to the dumpster to get Juliet's attention. It's at this point, I need Nightmare to roll a high or low. So, high or low, Nightmare?
Low.
You start running into the street. Your mask is removed. You've running so fast you don't have time to keep your guys up. Thankfully, there's no cars or anybody else there. You might have scared everybody off with that trash can earlier. But no one sees you as you're running. Mouse, you get down to speak to Juliet if you can.
Okay, it's bad. It's real bad.
What's
We're
bad?
leaving.
We're
Yep.
leaving.
Yep, we're leaving. We're just going. I'm gonna find a sewer grate and I'm gonna pull us down there.
Okay. Make me a wits plus awareness. 2 will cover it. Okay. Yeah, there's one in the middle of the street where they're fighting. Or where Nightmare is running to, I should say.
Yep, I'm going for it. I'm gonna toss her down.
Alright.
Not really toss her, but...
That's alright. You start running, and this is a manhole cover, and you're not exactly built for this kind of thing. Yeah. You end up here, Mouse, you with Juliet in hand grab hold of the manhole cover, and you try and slide it. Nightmare, you are currently watching as you are running right towards him, Mouse and Juliet, at full tilt. whatever
Do
it
I
might be.
see Juliet?
Yes, you do.
Then I'm no longer going to be spending that willpower. Beeline for her.
Mr. Seraph,
Yep.
what are you doing?
Okay. So. Okay, real quick.
Hmm.
Do I see Mouse and Juliet down the street?
You do. They're running towards. They seem to be running towards Nightmare, though their eyes seem to indicate that they're going down. Nightmare is running full well away from this dog. This dog seems to be running towards the group.
I'm badly hurt, but I'm gonna try everything I can to like at least make sure that they get away. Okay, so I am. I'm gonna try to. I'm stepping in the dog's way, and I'm casting Dominate one more time.
All right.
So either this is gonna work, or I'm gonna get mauled to death, but everyone else is gonna get away. So
Well, you can hope.
either way, I can hope.
All right. So we're going to start with Rashad and Raven. So, Raven, you know what to roll for defense. Rashad, let's see what the results are. Raven just will not stop. The dog, as you end up commanding it to stop, this dog just bails past you. Now, I'm pretty sure you're not the intended target, so this dog just blitzes right past you. Maybe you didn't make eye contact, you don't know, but it won't stop. Nightmare, you are currently in full frenzy, and you're not capable of focusing on the manhole cover. You are, however, capable of focusing on that wonderful bit of, well, fire escape that's across the street.
It'll have to do.
Alright, you're running for it. It's not going to be a contested roll. You're literally using every feat of strength you can to end up running to get away from it. Hopefully this thing can't climb. Mouse, you are opening the sewer grate, and as you are doing so, the dog collides with Juliet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm going for that dog.
Okay. Alright. This is a brawl and strength test between them. Now, Raven, you've already had one person act against you, so you're at a -1 right now.
Okay.
Not that that's a huge matter to you. Only 2 successes. Okay. Okay. Mouse, you're trying to intercede?
Yep.
Okay. Raven, I need you to make that same roll, but I need you to roll at 2. Or with a -2 this time. You've had one action against you, now 2 actions, this is the third. And the weight is starting to compound.
3, that was then 2. So this will be... bestial crit.
Mouse.
Mm.
The dog, as it realizes you're trying to get between it and its prey, snaps at you. Jaws ripping at you. Trying to end up barreling over, trying to fight, trying to end up growling, hissing, whatever it needs to do to get over you and back onto its prey as you're trying to hang on, and it is tearing you up. You take 3 points of superficial damage.
I am impaired.
It's
Max.
actually 5.
Yeah, it's a bestial crit.
Oh god, that's right. It's bestial crit. Oh.
Fuck.
You're impaired but not critical, right?
I'm at 5 aggravated and 1 superficial. I am close to torpor.
Okay. Then you and Juliet both need to roll frenzy. So, willpower's 2.
The frenzy button at the bottom?
Yep. Putting your current willpower value and your humanity bonus, which I believe for you is 1 right now, unfortunately.
Nope, it's +2.
Oh, you still have +2? Yeah.
Yep, I'm at 6 humanity.
Yeah. Yeah, you both feel the need to run. Just absolutely run from this thing. This is running like this thing is living daylight with fur.
Yep. Trying to get away.
Alright. This is going to be the last round. Nightmare, you're capable of climbing up the scaffolding if that is still your wish.
That's what the beast says to do, and right now I'm in Nightmare Frenzy, so...
Yeah.
Or not Nightmare, the Fear Frenzy.
Alright. Mouse, you can dive into the hole. Or you can try for the scaffolding, or you can try and run down the street up an alleyway. The beast does not care. But the beast clearly recognizes the hole is home.
Yep. Going down there.
Alright. And your body, moving on its own, lunges itself down the manhole and into the dark, into the place where you can at least enact. You have eyes of the beast, so if I recall...
I do not, actually.
You do not? Alright.
Nope.
Sorry, I'm trying to remember why I thought that. But you are capable, at least now in low light, to be able to see a little bit down here. And all you feel is the splashing of God only knows against your feet as you're running. Running.
Right now, I don't care about that. I am just out.
Yeah. Nightmare. You start climbing. Raven, you still have no interest in Nightmare anymore, correct?
No.
Nightmare, you can get to the top before you start jumping from rooftop to rooftop, taking dangerous leap after dangerous leap. And Rashad, you end up seeing this beast just quickly barreling down upon Juliet.
Okay. Is there anything I can pick up or something?
Roll me a wits plus awareness. You're in a panic state. You're trying to keep your composure, but everybody's running, everybody's fangs out, everybody's going in. This is the middle of the street. This is literally the worst case fucking scenario. And there's some dog that is out to kill you. Or maybe Juliet or Nightmare, you don't know. But it's been attacking everyone.
I need to try something. I can't just let Juliet get mauled or Kitty. Well, they already are, but I at least need to try to help. So,
Be smart about it, Ventra. Be smart. I'm not saying be a coward. I'm saying be smart. This beast is bigger and meaner than you could ever hope to be. What do you need to do to bring it down?
okay.
Keep in mind,
I
Juliet is currently in frenzy. She is running. Running as fast as her legs will carry her.
just need to make sure that something impedes that thing's way so she can get out of here faster.
Both of them are faster than you. They blitz past you, and you're trying to keep up with a frenzy and Kindred and a dog.
Yeah. Is there anything that I could make collapse on the dog? Anything near? No.
We've already rolled, so there's not much I can hint at.
Ah. Okay.
Alright.
Trying to think. All right. I'm going to keep my distance, but start working my way around.
Alright. Goes to Juliet and Raven. Only two. Raven. She is torn to pieces. You can see parts of her ribcage just collapsed. As she turns to run, you jump on her and you rip open her back. You crunch down on ribs. You crunch down on whatever you can. Your claws just slicing through. In this four-legged form, a hellhound of Fitzgerald Project starts to slash and destroy this thing, this infiltrator, this distraction that has been at you the whole time. This thing that can't be trusted. This thing that the whole coterie turned itself against you because you can't fathom the reason now. There's only rage and the beast and the blood upon your tongue and lips as you rip and tear. She doesn't look like she can survive another round.
Is she in torpor?
Not yet.
If I deliberately don't kill someone, they just enter torpor, yes? When dealing damage.
If you deliberately, but you're running with the beast now.
I try to fight the frenzy then.
Okay. This is going to be difficulty 3. Willpower +1 for your humanity. Remember, that's remaining willpower, not base.
Shit.
Piece by piece, we lose ourselves to the beast. Raven, you wanted to make an example. And you're going to make an
Actually-
example.
Fuck, I forgot. I could have just spent that to regain control for a turn.
Well. High or low?
Low.
It's gonna stand. I'm sympathized, I really do. But this is what it means to be kindred. To trying to maintain control and to give in to it. It feels so good in the moment, doesn't it? But the beast doesn't understand too far. It only understands to rip and tear and devour.
In which case, the beast will rip and tear.
I believe this might be our last roll together. Or maybe not. Oh.
One point.
Raven. The beast clamps down on its jaws. You feel your teeth intermingling with hers as you crunch, and you can feel neck bone and jaw start to shatter. You feel the ripping of skin and bone and sinew. For maybe the briefest of moments, you remember when the last time you did this. The last time you did this to Nighty. Mr. Seraph, you bear witness as this blackened hellhound, this beast from the dark, from the alleyways and the Fitzgerald projects, rips the head of Juliet, of Kitty, of Jamie Stone, clear from her shoulders. The disgusting mess that starts to roll down the street like some ball let loose from a child's game. And you realize that if you stand here, you have nothing to gain and everything to lose if this thing turns its wrath upon you.
Get out.
Raven. The beast will continue until everything here is dead. And there stands that pompous son of a bitch. That one that dared command you. That one who wants into this coterie that you helped become a founding member of.
Exactly,
This
he will kill
interloper.
you. part of this. He is not a part of this.
We will kill him!
One day, maybe, but that is not this day. I spend a willpower to buy him a point.
Raven, the beast is clawing as you try and put the first lash around its neck. At the cage to kill him! Kill him!
He is not worth killing.
He's a witness. He knows what
I
you did.
want him to be.
We'll kill him. We'll kill him and we'll savor every piece of him. He deserves to die. They all deserve to die for betraying you. They're all gonna betray you.
But they still have a use.
Kill him!
Not to die.
What do you do, Raven?
I will spend a willpower to regain control for a turn.
You have control for one turn and one turn only. What do you do?
I drop the shape change, I drop the feral claws, I drop everything. I stand up in the street as Raven. I look at Rashad and just say, run.
Mr. Seraph, before you, this dog seems to almost go on its hindquarters as it stretches out. It stretches and shifts as bone readjusts, as fur shrinks back in, as claws change to fingers, and the mane turns into dyed purple hair. Familiar dyed purple hair. As the woman who was inside your compound, not but last night, stands over the body of the one you swore to teach. And she turns to you, fangs still out, barely hanging on, as she utters the words, "Run." What do you do?
Calm yourself. I have to get out of here.
And with the Ventru running, and with a body laying in the middle of the Fitzgerald's projects, Raven standing, one can only hope the message she has sent to the coterie is heard loud and clear. And this is where we're going to have a little break. we left off, the coterie was accosted, was torn to ribbons by one of their own, unbeknownst to all but one. Raven, the gangrel, has had enough with the lies and the double talk. She finally accepted her power for what it is. And in a moment where she tried to terrify the one who refers to himself as Nightmare, a very imposing individual indeed, she started tearing him to shreds. The Ventrue, Mr. Rashad, tried to intervene and getting grievously injured in the process. It wasn't until, after so much fighting, an attempt to subdue the beast, when Mouse and Project Juliet, also known as Jamie Stone, ended up coming into view, did the beast find a target more savory. And Raven's beast bolted after causing everyone to hit fear frenzy, running, catching hold of her prey, decapitating Jamie Stone with her own jaws in the form of a hellish hound that stalks the Fitzgerald neighborhood. With everybody else gone to ground or hiding, there only stood Mr. Rashad Seraph, the Ventrue, staring onward as the dog transformed back into Raven. Only he holds the secret as to who ended up attacking the coterie, though he may not know the reasons. And with a single word, run, he was left to run into the night. No bodyguards, no contacts, the wrong neck of the woods, and Raven standing atop a corpse of a successful kill. Raven, at this point, I do know what your convictions are. But to go over them real quick, you chose to ride with the beast. Run, directed it. You openly sought to kill. There was no protecting the innocent. There was no attempt to control. There was no want to suppress. So you will be taking 3 stains. And as you stand over the corpse, in the middle of the street, this Nosferatu was already starting to rapidly decay. The beast is looking for something else to unleash this anger, this hatred for a world that would betray her every step, who would not listen, who would not take heed, who would dismiss, forget.
What say you and I go find a bite to eat?
We can do that. I like that plan. We'll kill him will kill them all for hurting us.
In time.
I can't wait.
They will either fall in line, or they will die.
Now you're getting it. Now you're getting it, Raven. With that, Raven walks into an alleyway and begins the hunt anew. Raven, I'm going to need you to roll me. I'm going to need you to roll me a check. Difficulty is 5. 6 if you're keeping to your feeding restriction. Or maybe you just don't care anymore about the innocent.
They just get in the way.
Okay. Roll me your feeding.
Using my grappling specialty to pin anyone down who tries to run away.
That is correct. Difficulty's 5. You succeed. You look. And you find someone who seems to be dropping off his girlfriend at a house. They seemed a little panicky. Maybe they had an altercation earlier tonight. The gentleman seems to be fairly clean cut, wears a nice blue hoodie as he starts to walk. He gets this suspicion. The chase is thrilling as the running begins, making the blood pump harder. Fear on the wind is all it takes before you lunge upon him, throwing him into an alleyway, into trash cans, and without care, you begin to feed. How much are you taking? We could take it all. What's one more at this point? That battle took a lot out of us. We need our strength. You're gonna need your strength if you want to end up pushing them, as they will come after you. You need to be ready.
Let's take it all.
Okay. Raven, you begin to take more and more as you feel this wonderful sensation. One that you've felt a few times at this point, but you feel full, almost bloated like a tick, as you end up continuing to feast and gorge upon this individual. You make the opportunity. You take what is yours. All of the blood. All of it. It's every bit, and it's so much better when it's down to the last drop. When the heart goes into palpitations and stops, starts, stops, starts, stops. You stretch out and you feel the rush. And it is intense. It is horrifying. As the body is already beginning to cool. And yet, tonight's work is not done.
We really better clean that up. Don't want the wrong people finding it.
You grab hold of the body, start to drag it into the darker parts of the alley. And that, my friends, will leave to your imagination. There's one last scene I want to do before we call it a night. In the tunnels, in the dark. You continue to run, Mouse. Mouse, you are running for your life, and it takes so long before the beast no longer urges you forward. Before a moment of calm. Before you regain your senses. And you turn around to realize no one followed. No one's behind you. You left Juliet with that thing. And then there's a shadow that moves. It's coming towards you. Slow, calm, and denim. That is where we're going to end this story for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed the story tonight. Rough as it may be. Because the life of a kindred is ever on a precipice. It is maintaining control. Because if you do not maintain control, the beast will take it in an instant. And will destroy everything. Because a beast I am, lest a beast I become. These are monsters. Never forget that. They may cry for you. They may hurt for you. But in the end, it's all blood and dead meat. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight on another episode, the 19th episode of Detroit by Night. The Motor City broke down. Blood on the breath. Now, we end up having a moment where we need to reflect. Before I go, I think it would be fair to say, Raven, that you incurred another 3 stains because of that wanted murder to feed. Would you agree?
Apologies, Mike was muted. Yes.
Okay. I need you to roll me a remorse check, and I believe you only have 1 die. There's no regret. This is owning up to what you are. And this is you showing your power. Something that needed to be done. At a necessary cost to prepare for the nights ahead. What's another body to the Foundations?
War is coming.
That being said, before I even get to XP, thank you all. Thank you for that. These are the moments I live for as a storyteller. To going not knowing who to root for, that there's no easy way out, that everything is pushed to the precipice. And maybe the players will have learned something from this. Maybe the coterie will learn something from this. So, let's start with experience, shall we? One experience for everybody, without question. Highlight scene, I don't think anybody's going to argue what that was. And I'm willing to give it to everybody. Because I am thoroughly impressed. Very impressed.
Oh.
Lastly, who had the best one-liner? I can make my guess, but...
Sit. Even though it didn't work.
I think it's because it didn't work that deserves best one-liner.
I think we got a majority there. So,
Yep.
Shad, you get one additional experience point.
Alright.
Now to the audience. I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes to think. I want you to award one experience to whoever you can collectively agree upon. Basically, I'm just taking votes. Mention which character between Mouse, Raven, Rashad, and Nightmare. Who you think earned it? Who you think it is that you want to end up saying, that person made this scene for me? Or that person made this game for me? Or this is who I'm coming in for? Right? Got one vote Raven, one vote Rashad.
To be fair, the person who voted Rashad was also holding the rest of the chat on at gunpoint. So vote wisely, people.
Yeah, very much a power play.
You think a gun's gonna stop Raven?
Well, with those hellfire bullets, might.
Might give her a
Slow her
pause.
down a bit.
I think Raven just realized on how dangerous she actually is. And
I never took a point of damage
Yep.
that entire combat.
Yep. I don't think he realized on how dangerous you can get in that regard if no one takes you. Everybody tries to go in your position. So we got 2 votes for Shad. Anybody else throwing in a vote? We still got a minute.
Kitty, I will say thank you for that, because believe it or not, I'm not a bad person. And that was some of the hardest RP I have had to do.
Here's the thing: she's actually the worst kind of person. A nice.
Yep.
We love Rose.
Yes, we do. We have no hard feelings at all at what happened. This is a story that we're all writing. Some of us are emotional. Most of us are emotional. But that's okay.
Hashtag me.
Hashtag ugly cry.
For real though, I do.
Hashtag Mordecry.
Then we got 2 Ravens, 2 Rashad.
Yeah. Well, Black Wolf never said, but
Black Wolf actually
okay.
just did say.
Maddie, Pneumonica, you want to chime in on this?
Yeah, you wanna
This is
Vote.
audience participation.
no hard feelings. If you go for who you vote, doesn't
We got a Raven. Okay, so we got 2 Raven, 2 Rashad. I
Free
can't.
Raven.
Black Wolf. Let's double check here. Black
Black
Wolf.
Wolf, Kitty,
Kitty
and...
is a.
Oh no, wait, Kitty already voted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Kitty already voted. So
Kitty
it's
was
two
just
Ravens,
confirming.
Rashad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Yusuf is still holding a gunpoint.
All right. Well, you guys know what I do on a tie. So you two have to agree between Rashad and Raven, high or low.
You call it Volvo. I can't. Right now.
Low.
You know what? I'm the ST and I'm allowed to circumvent rules. And I think because of this performance, I'm gonna circumvent it. I'm gonna pull my ST bullshit trump card out tonight. Okay, so everybody can cry bullshit that I'm doing this, that I'm breaking my own rule. But for tonight, I'm gonna give it to them both. Because I think
Congrats.
it was earned more than anything. And I do agree that was a split chat. And I gotta give it as a point that, yeah, Rashad stuck it out to the end. That's what a Ventrue does. Until it's over, he did not leave. He stuck it out. He held it. When everybody else was losing it to the beast, Rashad's the one who stayed calm and cool.
Your boy lost it real early.
No, the scariest thing. Juliet would have recognized Raven. The others would have had no idea until she changed back into a human, but Juliet knew exactly who was doing that to her.
Yeah.
The monster from her nightmares.
They came back to finish the job. I hope you all enjoyed that. And I am thoroughly impressed tonight. Let's hope that next week, episode 20, we can keep this rolling. To let everybody know, if you haven't already and you've enjoyed the story, hit the follow button. I'd like to end up sharing these stories and the talents of the players that I have with me. I'm honored to run with them. If you want to be part of this community, well, there's a Discord link down below. So feel free to end up joining us down there. And if you want to end up keeping an eye on what we do around here or how to play Vampire, you have questions about the game, mechanics, calls, whatever it is. When it comes down to Vampire, I'm an open book. And speaking of open books, tonight we're going to end up cooking something up a little bit on, well, Vampire the Masquerade Workshop. So we'll be kicking it off at 11 o'clock tonight. So that's going to give everybody about 35 minutes to wind down. But I hope you can all be there. And I hope that this story that we've told resonated with you a little bit. It might just horrify you a bit, knowing that inside all of us, there might actually be a monster. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good
Good night.
Run.